Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Today I wanted to get started with my video series that I'll be doing with me dehydrating some of the meals that I'll be taking with me on the Pacific Crest Trail for my thru hike in 2020. And so I'm super excited about these recipes that I've come up with, and I've been working really hard on them to get them just right so they're not only healthy but super delicious. And if you've been following me in my previous videos, you know I expressed an interest in trying to eat as healthy as I can while I'm on the PCT next year, and that I planned on sending myself resupply packages. So I'm really excited about the recipes that I've come up with so far, and the first one I wanted to start with is also my easiest, so I thought that would be a good place to start, and it's something I'm going to be mass producing over the next few weeks, getting ready for my resupply packages. And that is my granola cereal, and this one's already put into its vacuum sealed pack with its nut milk powder. You can also use regular milk powder or whatever your preference is in that department. But anyway, it's so delicious. It smells amazing while you're cooking it, and it smells like you're at a carnival with fresh waffle cones and caramel cooking or something like that. But it tastes just as good too as that. So anyway, I'm excited to share that with you. So let's get going. Okay, so let's get going with the ingredients for this granola. We're going to start with 2 cups of oats, preferably whole oats. 1 cup of sliced almonds, 1 cup of pumpkin seed, and the raw, not the roasted, salted, raw, unsalted. We're gonna, let's see, 1/2 cup of coconut flakes, and make sure that they're unsweetened. 1.5 cups of chopped pecans. And I find that the flavor's better if you get the whole pecans and then chop them up yourself. It seems like whenever I get the ones that are pre-chopped, they sometimes have kind of a strange flavor to them, or maybe not as fresh tasting, so I would recommend getting the whole and chopping them yourself. So 1/3 cup of unroasted, unsalted sunflower seeds. This is 1/8 cup and 1/8 cup of flax seed and chia seed together. This is 1/2 cup of dried cranberries, 1/2 cup of dried blueberries. Okay, so we're going to mix all these dry ingredients together real quick. Whoops. Okay, making a mess here already. Okay, so this is 1/2 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt and 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon. And just sprinkle that over. Cinnamon's optional, obviously. You don't need to add that if you don't care for that flavor in your granola. I liked it just fine without it. I'm just adding it for some of the nutritional benefits of it. And I use the Ceylon cinnamon as well. Okay, so just mix up all these dry ingredients really, really well. Make sure that your pecans are the right size that you want, and break up anything that seems too big. Okay, so once you have all your dry ingredients mixed together, you're going to add 1/3 cup of maple syrup, and this has 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract mixed in with it already, and we're going to just drizzle that over the top. So good. Oh my gosh. Yum. All right, take your hands, mix it all together. It's gonna be a little sticky, a little messy, but that's okay. And the smells are already phenomenal. You've got the vanilla in there and the coconut, the maple syrup, the cinnamon, everything's just blending together and smells so delicious. And when it cooks up, your house is gonna smell so good. All right, so just get that blended together really well. And then we're ready to put it in the pan and We're going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. I do stir it a little bit halfway through to make sure that all of it's getting browned and not just the top layer. So this is looking really, really good. I'm just gonna leave it in here maybe another minute or two, but I've taken it out a couple times to stir it, actually 3 times now, to make sure that it gets as golden brown all the way through as possible, because that's where that really great flavor comes from. So I've just taken this out of the oven and it's nice and toasted all the way through. And I'm just gonna let it sit here and cool off a bit before I move it onto the dehydrator trays. Okay, so the granola has cooled and I've spread them out on my dehydrator trays. And now we're gonna go put them in the dehydrator at 135 degrees for about 4 hours. Okay, so now for the fun part, we have our granola fully dehydrated now. And the reason we dehydrated it, besides baking it, was to make sure that the maple syrup that we added, the vanilla, that there was no other like residual moisture of any kind in it. And it seems like that extra dehydrating process just makes it really nice and crispy and crunchy and delicious that way. So let's go ahead and let's add these to our bowl. So I figured out ahead of time how much I would need for a serving size for me. So this recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is what I found to be appropriate for me, and it ended up being somewhere about 400 calories as well once I added in the powdered milks. So anyway, you can design it for however large a quantity you want or small quantity. I'm going to stick with 3/4 cup, and that works out to be about 3 ounces on the scale. This is also my heaviest meal that I'm preparing because of all the nuts that are in it. All my other meals worked out to be about 1.85 to 2 ounces each. So this is definitely my heaviest one. Okay, so we're going to do 3/4 cup, and I'll let you see that on the scale. So this is 2.85, but yeah, it's 2.85, 3 ounces, somewhere around there. And we are going to take a sandwich size bag, or you can use a quart size freezer bag, whatever it is you like to use on the trail for mixing your food or liquids in. And there's the serving size. And to this we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of our coconut milk powder. This is just what I'm preferring to use on the PCT, but you can use whatever appeals to you. I also will be using powdered milk as well. Just has extra protein in it and stuff, but I'll just be doing both. So for this recipe, I will be putting 3 tablespoons of coconut milk powder. And I already figured out ahead of time how much I needed to get it just the right flavor and consistency. And so I will be rehydrating it with 3/4 cup of water. And that is for the regular milk and the coconut milk. They both were exactly the same. So there it is with the coconut milk added. And we're gonna add a desiccant packet to that, and that will just absorb any extra moisture that might be in this mixture. And then we're just going to roll this down. And I actually don't seal it because I like during the vacuum sealing process for any air to be pulled out of here as well. So I just leave it like this. And we're going to move it to our vacuum sealer bag, which I already have pre-cut to the size that I want. And what I do is I take the side that is has double layer plastic on it, and that's the one that I'm going to put on the thinner side of the vacuum seal bag to reinforce it a little bit. So when it vacuums really tight, you know, it's less likely that anything's going to puncture through that. So there you have it. This is ready to stick in the vacuum sealer. So let's go do that. Okay, so here's my vacuum sealer, and super easy to use and very addicting. These are so fun. So we're gonna go ahead and lay this in here just right. Make sure we clamp this down evenly, and then we're gonna press vacuum and seal. It's pretty quick. Now it's gonna switch to seal only. Voila, that's that. So I'm going to cut off this extra here and then label it with the date and contents, and then also how much water I need to add to it to rehydrate. So I wanted to show you guys how I'm going to prepare this on the PCT. And you have a couple options. You can remove the Ziploc baggie from the vacuum sealed bag when you're in town doing resupplies if you want to save on weight. For me, it's going to depend on what kind of Ziploc bag I have inside. This one's kind of flimsy, and I could see it getting punctured inside my food bag, so I'd probably want to keep it in the vacuum seal bag. But if I get those more durable Ziploc baggies, then I wouldn't feel bad about removing it from the vacuum seal bag in town, just to save a little on weight and bulk. But let's go ahead and take that out. And you can see it's all nice and ready to go. Take out your desiccant packet. And that's another thing you can remove in town if you do decide to take your Ziploc baggies out of the vacuum seal bag. And then I pre-measured in here my 3/4 cup of water. Actually, it's just a little bit hair less than that because, yeah, I think this is a pretty milky recipe. You could probably do a little bit less than that. And then you just want to agitate it and get it all mixed together, and then you're going to put it inside your can so that in case any of it decides to leak out, it's inside your can and not all over wherever you're eating. There you go. And I'll stir it up a little bit more. There you can see Well, thank you for following along while I made my granola cereal. That batch made 9 servings, and I will be making a lot more in the coming weeks. And I hope it's something that you guys decide to try. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. And I did gear this recipe towards my higher fat, higher protein diet. I do tend to eat lower to moderate carbs. I don't eat a high carbohydrate diet, which is why I wanted to design a lot of these meals myself. And so anyway, I think it's perfect for me. It makes me feel really satiated for a long time when I eat this. So it's something that's going to serve me really well out on the trail. And I hope you guys give it a shot too and tell me what you think. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for following along. Bye.